Brendan. Moylan, firstly, congratulations. This year's National Long Driving Champion.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been doing this? 2006 you started?
Yeah, started in 2006 when a friend introduced me to it. He saw it on TV and said, "Oi, you're a long hitter, get into this."
The first time you really had a serious go, you almost won the national title, but you've won it 3 times now. Must be a thrill to have won it that many times.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic buzz. When I first got into it, I lost the Australian finals by just over a metre, and yeah, I was hooked. It's an adrenaline rush. Everyone loves hitting their driver, and I have the pleasure of being able to hit it, further than most.
So Brendan, I use a stiff shaft in my golf club. It's a standard length. What sort of setup do you have in your drivers?
Well, what we're using as opposed to the average golfer is we're trying to create a good angle through our body. So we're using lofts as low as 4 and 5 degrees. Some guys might use 6 or 7 depending on maybe a tail breeze. But we're also using 2, 3 and 4x shafts. They're also a little bit longer.
Wow.
So it's just a matter of trying to set up the right shaft head combination for the way you swing it, and then also try and dial that into the conditions that you're going to be up against on the tee.
So it really is a specialty thing having a long driving golf club itself.
I get mine from Callaway, and if someone else wanted to get into the sport, they'd obviously go through the Long Drivers of America website where they can get any of these heads that we compete with.
Well, just looking at that head, it looks no different to what you see in the shop, other than the loft on it.
Same loft. Obviously, I personally painted this one for representation of Australia at the World Finals with the Southern Cross. But yeah, it's a 5-degree head, and it does the same job, same weight at the back as the 440cc head that you'll find at your drum and golf store. And yeah, it's go grab one.
In terms of golfing, what sort of launch angles do they go at, and what sort of club head speed are we looking at?
All right, to be competitive, unless you're swinging at least 140 mile an hour on a TrackMan device, you're not going to make it. You want to be launching at around about 12 to 14 degrees. Good smash factor of like 1.50 is optimal.
Yep.
You want to be coming in inside path, maybe a few degrees, and you definitely want to be launching on at least 5 or 6 degrees upward angle. That's going to give you the best spin rate, which is going to be for long drive around about 1800 to 2100 RPM backward. And yeah, you hit it smoothly, and that'll go forever.
So for your average golfer, you're obviously a good long hitter of the golf ball. What sort of tips would you give them to actually hit the ball further?
Most amateurs make the mistake of trying to get their power from their upper body, and I sort of suggest to people that a lot of the power can come from your legs. So one thing that people will do is they'll set up to the ball and they'll try and get really aggressive over it, and they'll actually open their shoulders up. So I've got 2 tips. One, make sure that your shoulders are always close to the target, facing for a right-hand golfer down the right-hand side of the fairway. And the second thing is when you get to the top, don't make the mistake of actually spinning out of it. When you spin out of it, you'll see the club comes over the line, and that's surely going to give you a cut ball flight. So when you get to the top of the backswing, you want to make sure that you bump your hips in, and then once you've got them bumped in, that's when you can rotate through it. And that'll create an inside to out path, much straighter, if not a draw ball flight.
So Brendan, you can certainly smash it. Do you actually have a handicap and play golf?
I actually have a handicap. It's not one to be proud of, but 11 is my handicap. And I used to have a really good one of about 4 when I started out about the age of 15. I started playing and worked way up to a 4 handicap at Gold Coast Burleigh Golf Club. That's where I started.
How did you get into golf? Were the mates that played, or your family? Or?
Yeah, funny story. I actually broke my hand, and on the way home from waiting in the hospital of 4 hours, my dad said, "You're going to wait for me while I hit some golf balls." So I got bored sitting down, and I picked it up one-handed, and a few months later, once the cast came off, I started swinging it. First game of golf, I beat my dad by 1 shot, so I was hooked.
The thing I'm concerned about when you play golf, though, is because you hit it so far, you have to wait not only the par 3s, you have to wait on nearly every par 4, and obviously the par 5s you're going to get home in 2. Must be a slow round waiting on the tee all day.
Yeah, it's a pro and con playing with someone as long as myself. All the long drive guys will always have to wait on a par 4. My biggest problem is waiting for the green and hoping the guys clear it, because I have actually hit someone when they were walking off the green on a par 4. So it's one of the joys of hitting it long. There you go.
Now, I have seen on your website you've capable of hitting the Odyssey 2-ball putter up to 250 metres. Is that something you have to practice beforehand, or are you capable of doing that while you're practicing with a driver?
It's a slight difference in length, but...
What sort of loft's on the putter?
About 3 or 4 degrees.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, that's about as far as I can do to drive it downwind down the bitumen tarmac. So, Brendan, fantastic. All the best with your trip overseas.
Thanks very much, Ozzy.
I know you do very well.
I appreciate it.